Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning trading room. One moment, I will get the screen share going on before I forget. All right, so Friday's session, as anticipated, was a little bit quiet. The market not really going very far, retracing its steps, and you can see here pre-market kind of more of the same. We're stuck around this 7,400 price zone, which you might expect. It is another whole number, a big number. And the markets do tend to be sensitive around those whole numbers. For those of you new in the trading room, let me give you a quick overview of what you're looking at here. This is the diversified trading system along with the Raptor. So here in the top left, we've got the Hawk micro scalper. Top right is the Falcon swing trader. Bottom left is the Eagle, and then of course the Raptor, which is a hybrid of the other three systems combined here into one. I'm watching the NASDAQ on this monitor. I've also got the Russell and the E-mini up on my other monitor. But I'd be happy to pull up any market that's of interest to you. All right, so we're getting an early buy signal here on the Hawk. We're producing a first micro macro cross higher. We're only a couple of minutes into the session. This is not my favorite time to trade. That's not to say it's not a valid signal, however. Here on the Falcon and the Raptor, we're going to be producing buy signals as well. The Falcon doing the trend change signal. And then here on the Raptor now, we're going to produce a number one signal. The number one signal is the cloud crossover signal. It develops when a trend is building or a new trend is building. This may not print as a number one, even though it does have the elements of a number one signal, because the clouds need to cross, and then we need to see a pullback, and then we need to see the trend continue in the new direction. But the pullback may have occurred just as the clouds were crossing, so the software may not have picked it up as a number one signal. All right, now, however, now we are getting a pullback. And this could develop into a number one. We're getting the warning dots. And like I said, for me personally, I'm not a fan of these early signals. It is fairly quiet for a Monday, though, I have to confess. Usually Mondays are a little bit crazier, especially right out of the gate, but not so today. All right. They're gonna, looks like they're gonna make a go for it. Is the Falcon printed? No, not yet. Okay, so the Falcon and the Raptor both producing that #1 signal now. Let's see if I can get a second push on this as it's starting to run away on me a little. Some early momentum, maybe, hopefully. This is the problem I have with the early market is they're still sorting things out. Yeah, and see, they're still kind of settling in here. That's all right. There's still time for the market to emerge out of this sideways range. Oh, John says Trump is talking with Putin right now. So yeah, that could put a little bit of a damper on the market. Overall, I think given the bullish state of the market, you're still better off looking to buy at the moment. No, see that whole high of the day thing is coming into play now. And we're kind of bouncing back and forth here. Okay, so they're making a stab here at the lows. We're back here to the median line from our support and resistance suite. This is really going to be the last chance for the buyers to get their act together. If not, they're probably going to take a run here at the lows of the morning. Now, if I happen to have a deeper stop, I would I would roll it at this point, but my stop is pretty much in the same place. Doggone it, I thought they were going to give me a break here when they rallied back up. I thought I was going to have, well, I should have been faster rolling my stops at this point. This was really the last chance that the buyers had. I should have taken that opportunity to roll my stops up. The only good thing about incurring a loss like that is now we can be reasonably confident the buyers don't have the market in control, and we can look at selling opportunities. But that's, I've mentioned before, and I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but um, that's one reason I don't like trading too early. I know sometimes the market makes some really big moves out of the gate. All right, well, they're still kind of bouncing around a bit, aren't they? They're not totally committed, it seems. There was a decent move lower. Now we're back into the hard edge. I'm a little concerned about the Falcon getting a green trend line going on there. All right, so the Falcon not in sync, the Raptor here back to the hard edge, however, and this is going to produce a number one signal lower if in fact the market does continue lower from here. Or look at that, it's just heading right back into the trading range. What a crazy session here. So the Falcon getting a little bit bullish here, the Hawk now getting bullish. The Raptor, well, still kind of bearish, and the Eagle still kind of bearish. So we're getting some mixed signals. Still in the middle of opening range here. Bouncing now on the underside of the median line. Traders all over the map here this morning. All right, so a little bit of a rally now from the Hawk as the buyers try to push back. But overall, you look at this chart, the context is still very, very sideways. I said I wasn't going to try another buy, and yet look at how the buyers are pushing the market back. I would have preferred to try another short. We'll see here in a moment whether the sellers try to recover the market now that we're back near where this move lower began, around the 74.04 mark. All right, so the hawk back here with another macro pullback. And these are the types of signals you don't want to see too many of them within a trend. Very often there's going to be two macro pullbacks within a trend. Now we're dipping back into yellow bars. Okay, so that's suggestive that maybe things are going to unwind here to the short side. Maybe. Okay, the filter out of sync with the Falcon. Trend line still in sync, but just barely. We're going to produce a red bar buy here on the hawk, which is a signal that we might be able to short if it sets up correctly. The eagle's still very, very neutral. You can see we've got a great big sideways trading range going on. The market not really getting outside of that range. And it looks like we may be stuck here for a while. Currently in swing mode, scalp mode coming up in about 8 minutes time, according to the trade forecaster. So we might be seeing more of this back and forth. Okay, I'm going to try to throw a runner in on this red bar buy signal. So we've got the buy signal, we've got the red bars and the buy signal. This is the type of signal you can take with trend, but it also tends to develop near the end of a trend. So you can look to sell the failure of it. This is not to be confused with the red bar buy that we see on the Eagle, which is a very strong signal. This tends to be a weaker signal of sorts. Okay, because I'm going to try to run it, I'm going to pull my break even a little bit deeper. This low right here is the really big obstacle for this trade. If we can get down below this 73.93-ish swing, there's a good chance the market will continue lower. In fact, that's even a bracketable range. You could even bracket this range with an OCO order. You could look to buy a move higher. You could look to sell a move lower. That's also a doable trade. Everything else still kind of sideways. Oh, the Falcon getting a little bit more bearish. All right, let's stay here with this trade now as we go into the last few minutes of opening range. Come on. Give me one more swing lower and I will roll my stops in above these highs right here. Maybe even go to, the ATR is a little cozy right now. A real tug of war around 7,400. The market not wanting to get too far away from that mark at the moment. Ah, look at that. Okay, excuse me for a moment. That is not right. Wow. Okay, well, there you go. We got ourselves a sideways market. It doesn't want to go higher. It doesn't want to go lower. We're stuck in this sideways groove, and really the only thing to do is to wait for it to emerge from this sideways trading range. That was crazy. All right, well, let's see what they do now that they're back near the highs of the day. Whether or not they manage to break through there. Or if it's just going to be more of this back and forth grinding. All right, well, do I dare try another buy? Here we have a number 3 signal on a second push. Second push just means we allow the signal to engage. We see where the market reacts, and that now becomes our signal bar. I know I'm a little bit late on this. I would already have been at my profit target had I entered here at the hash mark, but just kind of the overall sideways nature of the market this morning is making me a little reluctant. And I think from here on out, if I do take any more trades, they're all going to be singles, I think. Alrighty. Producing a sell signal now, actually. This, we're not going to get a whole lot of trading opportunities until we get outside of this trading range. You can see here the hawk, a lot of yellow bars. The falcon actually working a late filter entry signal, so that's maybe a little bit more promising. And now that one's trying to go out of sync as well, so everything is very stagnant. It looks like we're just going to keep getting this back and forth grind. And again, it goes back to the context. I think the first thing you need to identify as a trader is what's the market trend today? Or is there a trend? Is the market up? Is it down? Or is it sideways? Well, if it's up, obviously we're going to look to buy. If it's down, we're going to look to sell. And if it's sideways, which I think we can safely say this market is, then you really can't do too much. I'd hate to think this was the move of the day, but it may well have been. All right, well, let's just throw that on the shelf there for now. Looks like the Hawk scalper is giving us a few opportunities to scalp in and out. So here was a first micro macro cross to buy. It got up to its target. Here was a first micro macro cross coupled with a macro pullback and a 4-arrow consolidation, all kind of building in the same price area. And they got up to their target. Now we're getting a first micro macro lower. And we'll see whether that trickles to its target. But just overall, a very difficult kind of day. The market really wedging up here. We'll probably see a breakout, but maybe not for another 20 minutes, half an hour. All right, well, we'll just sit back and let them do what they're going to do. All right, well, what are they doing now? Are they going to try to move the market lower now? We've got ourselves a trend change signal here, and we're also working another first micro macro cross with, I got a little bit of a delayed entry here, so let's try this one more time. This now the first micro macro cross lower. We had another one here, but note how everything went out of sync. Bars are out of sync, trend lines are out of sync, filter is out of sync. Now it's all back in sync. So that's a first micro macro cross lower. The Falcon producing a trend change signal right there. The Eagle still a little bit of a jumbled mess. The Raptor producing an early cloud crossover. So the cloud's almost fully crossed, but not quite. But you do have the pullback, and now you're producing the signal. So there's a few things here coming into sync. It's not an easy signal to take advantage of, though. Maybe we'll wait for the proper number one signal to develop as we're watching the market pull back now to the hard edge. And if, in fact, this trend is going to continue, we should see a sell signal down here and a number one signal follow through from that. Paul says the mini Dow stuck around 25,000 and the Russell also in neutral, as is the E-mini. I just glanced up at the E-mini and it too in a sideways twist. All right, so here on the Raptor now we do have that number one signal. Come on, computer. The challenge here again is going to be keeping the stops far enough away. All right, let's see if they engage the order now. They're thinking about it. All right, there they go. Let's see if they actually have some follow through this time. All right, hooray! So that was a decent trade. I guess I better get back here to my hawk trade as well. And let's see, where are the... I'll go now with the ATR. So it took almost an hour for the market today to settle in. And now it looks like, well, we're at least back toward the lows of the morning. Come on, just a little bit more. Okay, a little bit of a rebound. All right, we're getting a little bit of a continuation back now toward the lows of the morning. If we take a look here at the Raptor, you can see we're back here to the lows of the morning. I could have left that trade in as a runner, that number one signal that we took. Let's see though, I knew I had my hawk trade on as well. Hopefully we can ride out this swing. If we trade here and make a new low of the morning, I'm going to go with a more aggressive stop. Nope, they didn't allow that. That's all right. Still a pretty good trade. Overall. And the hole I dug myself earlier is not as deep. It's still deep, but it's not as deep. I may not be able to dig myself out of this one today now that we're bouncing off the lows of the morning again. I was hoping there would be a little bit more follow through from that, but right now it's not looking that way. I think that's the hardest part in trading is actually being patient to wait long enough. Yeah. Yeah, Dan, you nailed it here. Dan says that's what I'm endeavoring to accomplish. It's hard and costly. Yes, ain't that the truth? Education is expensive. Okay, we are back now to the hard edge. Are we going to see some bearish follow through now, or is the market just going to continue moving sideways? At the moment, sideways is looking like it's getting the nod. Okay, well, they're happy to be moving sideways, and it's right back in this trading range. We're just retracing the same numbers that we did on, well, the latter part of Thursday, all day Friday, and here we are Monday. Marty, I think you got it bang on here. Marty says, I was told many years ago that trading is 30% technical and 70% patience and self-control. Jesse Livermore, the famous trader back in the 20s and 30s, was quoted as saying, the money is made in the sitting and the waiting, not in the trading. I've always said it's a very expensive hobby. You know, if you're just looking to do something, there's cheaper hobbies than trading. No, but you're right. Waiting for the right opportunity is your biggest challenge as a trader. Now, a day like today is really, really difficult because the market just isn't doing anything, right? To sit here and to watch it go back and forth and back and forth, it seems like a waste of time. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to get caught up in these false moves. As you saw me do this morning, I tried to trade higher, I tried to trade lower. Neither one worked out. Both were decent trades. Both should have worked, but the fact that the market isn't responding to high probability signals means that it's just not interested in doing anything. So the safest thing for you to do is just to stand aside, go do something else. In fact, if we don't see anything shape up here in about another 10 minutes or so, I think we'll do just that. Now, how do you identify the best opportunity? Well, we've got our high probability signals that we lean on. If you recognize that the market is in a sideways trading range, I think that's a pretty safe bet. The best course of action is to allow the market to get outside of that range and then see if it can stay out. Now, I know everybody's afraid when the market finally breaks out that it's just going to go on and on and on, and you're going to say, oh, how could I have waited? Why did I not trade the breakout? Well, I'll tell you what, once the market does break, it will retrace. Now, it may take, you know, if it was a big breakout lower or higher, it may take an hour, sometimes even more, before the market retraces to that breakout, but it will retrace and give you another chance to get in. And if you don't believe me, the simplest thing to do is just go back through your chart, try to find some places where the market was stagnant and then broke out. So let's say, all right, let's say this one right here. Right, we got ourselves a tight little trading range. The market breaks down, comes back. Does the breakout stick? No, it does not. Okay, so we'll stay with it here a little bit. Now it looks like they're going to try the breakout to the upside. So there was the breakout lower. Here's the breakout higher. Does the breakout stick to the upside? Oh, it looks like it's trying to. Oops, sorry. It's trying to, and does it get much higher? No, not really. Falls back into the trading range. So there's your criteria for determining whether or not the market is, if a breakout is truly going to stick. Now, I think Steve asked me the other day, is it okay if you identify a breakout zone, if you go to a shorter time frame and look at that breakout and see if there's some bullishness coming in, if that breakout's going to stick? I think that's a great idea, because What that does is sometimes it will allow you to get in on an opportunity a little bit sooner. So here we are on the Eagle, we get a bullish break. Is it okay to look at buy signals on the Raptor or the Hawk or the Falcon? Yeah, absolutely. Because you can see the Eagle, you got your buy signal right here, and it resulted in a little bit of a rally, but you very likely would have got a Hawk or Falcon or Raptor signal somewhere off of this bar right here. Okay, let's take a look at another sideways range, seeing how we don't have too much else going on. All right, let's say we called this a great big sideways trading range, just like that. And it looks like the market made a bullish break, made a quick little bounce back, a quick little retest, and this was showing you that it was not going back into the sideways range. It was actually staying out. But, you know, at this point you're saying, oh no, I missed the move. Well, no, not really. In this case, it took about 3 hours because this is the overnight session now. But it took about 3 hours to come back and it retested that zone again and gave you another chance to buy in. Oh, actually, there it ended up dipping a little bit deeper before it finally went. But this happens time and again, where the market will break out, it will come back, it will retest, break out, retest, and this is what you want to be on the lookout for. You want to be lookout for signs that the market is actually going to stay outside of that range. If you get in a bar or two late, that's okay. The objective is to be right or on the right side. And I'll leave it to you to scroll back in your chart and find your trading ranges and just see how the market responds once it breaks out, but it will retest. Now we're getting a little bit more of a bullish slant on the market again. We're above the band, the trading cloud. The Falcon already a little bit more bullish, as is the Hawk, but honestly, the way things are going today, I don't know if we're going to go anywhere. We're just kind of, like I said, going over the same numbers time and again. All right, well, the back and forth continues. More yellow bars. You know what, folks? I think we're just going to button things up here. There might be a late morning break as they head off into the lunch, but right now it looks like they're not really interested in going higher or lower. All right, let's call it a day then. We'll try this again tomorrow. Hopefully the market will break out of this sideways funk and we'll get some better trading opportunities. I'll talk to you then. Bye for now.